This is the Sabbath School lesson for the third quarter 2020.
Thursday, September 17. God's Final Appeal. Question: read Revelation 14:8, Revelation 17:3-6, and Revelation 18:1-4. What do we learn about spiritual Babylon from these verses? Revelation 14 verse 8, and another angel followed, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she has made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And Revelation 17, beginning at verse 3, So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, having in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication, and on her forehead a name was written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus, and when I saw her, I marvelled with great amazement. And Revelation 18, beginning at verse 1. After these things I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was illuminated with his glory. And he cried mightily with a loud voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean and hated bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues. In the book of Revelation, the term Babylon represents a false system of religion based on human works, man-made traditions, and false doctrines. It exalts human beings and their self-righteousness above Jesus and his sinless life. It places the commands of human religious teachers above the commands of God. Babylon was the centre of idolatry, sun worship, and the false teaching of the immortality of the soul. This false religious system has subtly integrated many of the ancient Babylon's religious practices into its worship. God's last-day message to our dying planet is the message of Jesus and his righteousness. It echoes heaven's appeal in Revelation 18:2 and 4. Babylon the Great is fallen, come out of her, my people. God has divinely raised up the Seventh-day Adventist Church to exalt the message of Christ in all of its fullness. To exalt Jesus is to lift up everything he taught. It is to proclaim the one who is the way, the truth, and the life, as we read in John 14, verse 6. It is to expose the errors of Babylon in contrast to the truths of Jesus. Question: read Revelation 14, verses 7 and 9 to 11. What contrasting objects of worship are highlighted in these verses? Revelation 14, verse 7, saying with a loud voice, Fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made heaven and earth, the sea, and the springs of waters. And verse 9 onwards, Then a third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If anyone worships the beast and his image, and receives his mark on his forehead or in his hand, he himself shall also drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out full strength into the cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascends for ever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whoever receives the mark of his name. Revelation 14 describes 2 different acts of worship, the worship of the Creator and the worship of the beast. These 2 acts of worship centre around God's day of worship, the true Sabbath, and a substitute or counterfeit Sabbath. The Sabbath represents the rest assurance and security that we have in Christ our Creator, Redeemer and coming King. The counterfeit day represents a human and false substitute based on human reasoning and man-made decrees. So to finish today, read Revelation 14:12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. What is this text saying, especially in the context of what came before? How are the law and grace both revealed in this text? And what should this teach us about how law and grace are two inseparable aspects of the gospel? Let's read Revelation 14:12 again. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus.
Hi there. Thanks for watching this video on the Advent-band Ministries YouTube channel. Please subscribe and click the bell icon to be alerted whenever we upload new videos. So, until we meet him in the clouds, may God continue to bless you.
This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind and Hearing Impaired, Christian Record Services for the Blind, the Sabbath School Department and Hope Channel. You can also listen on the official Sabbath School 4 app and the Apple iTunes app, Sabbath School with Percy Harrold. Remember, God is always faithful.